Week 27, baby is the size of a head of lettuce, a camping lantern, and a deflated basketball. Week 28, baby is the size of an eggplant, a rollerblade, and a baseball cap. Week 29, baby is the size of an acorn squash, a Barbie convertible, and a giant banana split. Week 27, baby is starting to develop vernix, which is the waxy, creamy coating that covers their skin while they're in the womb. This coating protects their skin from getting too pruny while they are in the womb, and it is actually filled with immune proteins and helps protect baby once they are outside of the womb when they are initially born as well. Weeks 28 and 29, we are now officially in the third trimester, and baby is just starting to open his eyes. While he still can't see very much at this point, he has practiced blinking, and over the next several weeks he will start to begin to see very basic shapes, like his hands in front of him and the umbilical cord. Mom has bright light shining on her belly. This is preparing his eyes for birth, at which point he will be able to see exactly the distance to Mama's face. It's Amanda, and I am here to do my 27, 28, and 29 week pregnancy update. Yes, I have been slacking. My original intent was to do an update every other week, every 2 weeks, and the last 2 times that just hasn't happened. So, oh well, I'm just getting them up when I can. Definitely much busier this time around in this pregnancy than I was in my previous 2 pregnancies. So, you know, third time mom, that's just kind of how it goes. And as you guys saw recently, we were on vacation down at the Oregon coast. I vlogged all of that, so if you're interested in seeing our little trip down there, it was beautiful, it was gorgeous. Absolutely wonderful time. We were exhausted when we got back because vacation with kids isn't necessarily laid back, but it was so much fun and it was so worth it. And just being on the ocean and having the kids see the ocean for the first time and just spending that time with our favorite people in the world, my dear family, it was just really, really nice. And so anyway, if you want to see those vlogs, I will have those linked here. So yeah, here we are, 3 weeks since my last update, and I am officially in the third trimester and well into it. I am 29 weeks pregnant, and oh my gosh, I know I say it every time. I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but oh my gosh, where is the time going? Oh, I just can't believe it. I'm basically at this point 3/4 of my way through this pregnancy. So I know these last 2 months are just going to just fly by. Anyway, so as far as my weight gain goes, always get that out of the way in the beginning of the video. I have gained a total of 25 pounds now, and in my second pregnancy I gained 35 pounds, and in my first pregnancy I had gained 38 pounds at this point. So I am still happy with that progress. My absolute weight on the scale is exactly what it was this time in my last pregnancy, since I started 10 pounds heavier in this pregnancy than I did in my last pregnancy. So I am really happy with that. At the current rate that I'm at, I will probably end up at the exact same ending weight as I did in my last pregnancy. So that was my goal, was to at least end up at the same ending weight, because that way I would have the exact same amount of weight to lose as I did after my last pregnancy, which is still a challenge, but it's better than ending 10 pounds more than I ended in my last pregnancy. So I'm still happy with how things are going, aiming for about a 40-pound weight gain, which I had gained 53 and 55 in my previous pregnancies. So far so good, staying on track for that. But speaking on staying on track with that, I will tell you guys, since I hit the third trimester, it has gotten harder. It has gotten harder. I know I've told you that like pretty much all the way through this pregnancy, it has been my easiest pregnancy that I have ever had. My first and second trimesters, they were like a breeze. And all of a sudden, like right when I hit that third trimester mark, I started getting uncomfortable, you guys. And that is to be expected being in the 3rd trimester, you know, that's like known to happen. And I'm not complaining because I feel like it's been so easy up to this point that I'm like, okay, it's like time for me to have some discomfort here. But I swear, like, little Bam Bam here has been on a huge growth spurt, which is, you know, what they say developmentally is true. In the 3rd trimester, like, all their parts are there and everything. They are just growing like mad. And my appetite has definitely been in sync with that. I have all of a sudden, you know, up until the end of the 2nd trimester, I was eating about the same amount of food that I was eating pre-pregnancy. And now that I'm in the 3rd trimester, that is not cutting it for me anymore. My appetite has hugely increased. I am hungry a lot now. And like the portion sizes that I was eating before, like my pre-pregnancy portion sizes, they just aren't cutting it. Like, I've been trying to eat smaller meals still, but like once I'm done eating that, I'm like, I'm still hungry. I am still hungry. Bam Bam is making little demands. I am not one for restricting myself in pregnancy. I'm still trying to keep things as healthy as possible, although I will admit that I have been being a little more lax in my diet than I usually am, but still trying to keep it within reason. But I have definitely been eating bigger portion sizes. I've been snacking a little bit more, and I've even been eating a little more sugar, which I'm not proud to admit. Like, for example, I have been eating a little bit of ice cream, like 100% like the real thing ice cream. And my body usually is not okay with dairy, as I've talked about before. But for some reason when I am pregnant, especially in this 3rd trimester, it seems to be bothering me a little less. And so I am like, I am just going to indulge in that a little, because I know that once I'm done being pregnant, I'm not going to be able to tolerate it at all again. And so I might as well, you know, if my body is tolerating it, I might enjoy just a little bit of real ice cream, right? So that's been a little bit of an indulgence for me lately. It is just like so satisfying, especially since we're really getting into late summer now and it's hot outside. Just having a little bowl of ice cream after dinner or after the kids go to bed, it's just, it cools you off. It's satisfying. So I have been indulging in that, and a little bit more gluten than I usually do. But for the most part, I am still keeping pretty healthy choices. I'm mostly eating eggs for breakfast, or I'll have like a parfait for breakfast. My unsweetened goat kefir, sweetened with a little bit of stevia and just a handful of granola, and mostly berries actually, because our berry bushes have been exploding. We have had blueberries, a butt ton of raspberries, which are my absolute favorite. I love raspberries, and now the blackberries are starting to get going as well. So I seriously have just like a little mountain of berries whenever I have cereal in the mornings or my little parfait. Oh, it is so good. And then lunches, I've actually just been craving goat cheese. I'm still craving goat cheese. I know I've talked about that before. So like almost every lunch I've been having like crackers and goat cheese with maybe some tomato and like some garden veggies. If you guys haven't seen our garden update, I'm not sure if I'll have that up before or after this video, but if I have it up, I'll link it here, and if not, then stay tuned because that will be my next video. But yeah, we did a late July garden update, and we're getting so many veggies, so much garden bounty. So that really makes it easy to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. So I've been eating a ton of those at lunchtime, dinner time. We've been making garden salad, literally from the garden. I feel like we've been making pretty good dinner choices, like we've been making salmon and chicken dishes, and we actually made a lasagna from mostly ingredients from our garden the other week. And so anyway, I feel like for the most part, what the point I'm trying to make is that I still feel like I'm mostly making pretty healthy choices in terms of eating, but I am eating bigger portions, and I am indulging in a few more treats than I usually do. And also related, I guess this is related to how weight gain is going, but I always talk about exercise as well. And as I've talked in my previous videos, I was doing really well with my exercise. Once again, up to this point in my 3rd trimester, and I feel like I am really scaling back, and that is for a couple of reasons. biggest reason is I am in my 3rd trimester now, and I am just getting uncomfortable. I feel like I'm just getting huge and stretching, and my belly is just getting so big and heavy, and my ligaments are stretching, and I'm getting like the hip pain, and it's getting physically harder for me to do the intensity of exercise that I was doing before. So I feel like I'm trying to give myself a little grace on that as well. The main thing I'm trying to keep up, because it is summer and the weather is nice, I have been trying to at least do brisk walking a couple of times a week, and I have been doing that even if I don't do the like full intense cardio workouts that I was doing before, which I feel like is acceptable getting into this late stage of my pregnancy, because that's what feels okay with my body, and I need to listen to my body. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to injure myself. I want to continue to, you know, keep my heart pumping and flowing and being as active as I can be, but it is, I will say it is getting harder and it's getting more painful to do so. So I feel like I'm giving myself grace. I am in my last 2 months of pregnancy here, and I'm doing what I can, and that's the best I can do. But yeah, so along those lines, like I said, I just really feel like this baby has really been in a growth spurt, and I can feel it. I can, not only am I more hungry, but like I can feel my belly stretching. You know, my last pregnancies, I had the diastasis recti, where the 2 sides of your abdominal walls split when you're pregnant, and I think that I had pretty well healed that with the, you know, I always wore a belly bandit for, you know, a good 6 months after I gave birth the last time, and then just like on and off after that, and doing postpartum friendly abdominal exercises and that kind of thing. I feel like I had, you know, gotten closer to healing that, but now it's all just undoing again. I think partly the pain and like stretching feeling that I'm like constantly feeling is that like separating again. I know that sounds horrible, but I really am feeling like a strain in my belly a lot of the time, and it is uncomfortable. Everything is just getting squished and stretched in there, and you know, I remember being uncomfortable in my previous pregnancies as well. I can't remember if I felt this level of stretching before, or if it's just that I'm like re-injuring my diastasis recti or what it is, but I feel like it's more uncomfortable this time around in the 3rd pregnancy, and I don't know why. But the stretching is like literally painful. And I am starting to have some of my old stretch marks from my last pregnancy like starting to reappear a little bit. I actually didn't have any stretch marks in my first pregnancy, so I remember thinking that time, oh, I'm not prone to getting stretch marks, great, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that didn't happen in the 2nd pregnancy. I got stretch marks, and those are starting to reappear again. So, you know, that's just kind of par for the course with being pregnant and growing a whole human inside your body. Your body is going to stretch. So I have been using a special belly cream. I think I mentioned it in my very last cloth diaper haul. I'll link that here. But I know that it's basically a genetic thing, and I'm probably just going to get stretch marks again in this pregnancy, and that's just kind of how it goes. Given that this is my 3rd pregnancy, like that kind of thing doesn't really bother me anymore. And just the whole, you know, struggling with vanity, that kind of thing. I feel like I'm struggling with that a lot less in this pregnancy. I have just accepted that that is what your body does when it's growing a human, and it's a miraculous thing, and that's just one of the things that happens. So I'm happy that I'm feeling a lot more at peace about my body in this pregnancy, so that's nice. A lot of that stretching and strain, and like I mentioned, when I exercise, I'm getting like hip pain and that kind of thing. I'm definitely starting to get the mama waddle, you guys. That's just kind of the nature of being this pregnant as well. Your hips are spreading and there's less space, there's all that weight. The time has come to start waddling. I actually have been getting a few little like spider veins on my legs, and I've never had those in my life before. So that's kind of fun. But, you know, like I said, I feel like, you know, it bothers me a little, but I also know that like this is just kind of par for the course with pregnancy. You get, you know, spider veins and varicose veins and stretch marks and all of that fun stuff. So I'm not that surprised by it. Oh, the other thing I should mention in terms of that strain in my belly, I have been really wearing my belly support felt a lot more in this pregnancy than I did in my previous pregnancies. I remember I did wear it, but like at the very, very tail end, I feel like I'm pretty much having to wear it every single day, almost all day, unless I'm sitting down or lounging or whatever. But if I'm gonna be on my feet, like I have to be wearing that support now because the strain is just too much and it's uncomfortable. I'll put in a picture here, but it's just one of these, you know, Babies R Us belly support maternity belt things, and it really makes a difference in reducing that strain when I'm standing up. And you know, it really puts a lot of that weight into your hips, and not just so much feeling that front-loaded kind of feeling and strain and stretched kind of feeling. So that has been helping me a lot with that problem. I actually went to Babies R Us and picked up one extra just so I can like carry one in the car with me in case I forget it. And because, you know, there are times when I'm out and about with the kids in the summertime, and if I'm going to be standing, walking, like I have to be wearing it. Otherwise I just get so strained and so fatigued. So yeah, I have one for around the house and one for on the go. Another way that I can tell that I am just putting a lot of my body's energy into growing a baby is that my body has been demanding sleep. It's been like demanding sleep. Like sometimes it's uncontrollable. It's a different kind of fatigue kind of feeling than the first trimester, when you just, it's like an overwhelming, you know, you feel heavy and, you know, like you have a lead weight in your body kind of thing in the first trimester. This time it's like a physical, I mean, those of you who've been pregnant, you probably know what I'm talking about, but you get in that third trimester and it's not so much like where you feel like your head is heavy and everything is heavy. It's like your body is just so fatigued that like you lay down and you just fall asleep. And that has been known to happen a few times. Another reason it's been really nice having Bill around is occasionally in the afternoon I just get this feeling like, oh, I just need to be horizontal for a while to like relieve that strain in my belly, and I don't even intend to, but I just unintentionally fall asleep. There have been a couple times like where he's come in, like I lay down on the bed and he's like, he notices that I'm asleep, so he'll close the door and like go watch the kids for a while. And so it's really, really nice having him here for that kind of thing, because that has been happening more. And I have been trying to sleep a little bit more at night, which I have been doing successfully. Thankfully our kids have been sleeping in the summer, like knock on wood. So that's been really nice because I've been able to sleep a little later in the mornings than we usually do. So I know it's not going to be that way forever, so I'll take it when I can get it. Our schedule is allowing it right now. We're night owls, so when I can sleep in like that, oh, it's glorious. And Bill and I still sometimes will take turns getting up with the kids as well to like really let each other sleep in, like pre-kids kind of sleeping in. There have been a couple times like where we'll let each other sleep until like 11 or noon. You know, like I'll put earplugs in the night before because, you know, it's his turn to get up with the kids. And so there have been 1 or 2 times when I have slept until like all the way till noon. And that's a rare occurrence. It doesn't happen very often, but it has happened once or twice, like when it's Bill's turn to get up with the kids. And oh, it is just so glorious because I am craving so much sleep right now, and so my body is just demanding it. And so, you know, the times when I can like really sleep a lot like that, my body is really, really happy. Nonetheless, even on like those days when I sleep in, there are still some afternoons when I'll just like lay down and I'm just like asleep without even trying, and I wake up, I'm like, oh, I guess my body was a little bit tired. In terms of the summertime, we definitely are getting into late summer now, and oh my gosh, that is also a challenge of the timing of this pregnancy. I knew it was coming, and I've been like trying to mentally prepare myself getting into the days when we get weather that's in the 80s and the 90s. Thankfully we do have window air conditioning units, and on those days, like I really literally feel like I am melting. And we have to have the AC on. I've heard other pregnant moms describe that like when you are pregnant, you feel like the air temperature is 10 degrees hotter than it actually is. And oh my God, is that ever true? Like even when on certain days when it's not as hot, like I took the kids to a park the other day and I was just burning up in the sun. I just felt, I was like, I need to get out of the sun. I am dying. I'm feeling overheated. And I was like, it must be at least 75. Like, it must be 80 degrees out here. And we get back in the car and I look at the little, you know, temperature thing on the car and it said 68 degrees. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That really felt like 78 degrees to me. So it's funny how that little rule is true, that just when you are this pregnant, you literally feel like it is 10 degrees hotter than it actually is. So I've been trying to deal with that. And yeah, on those really hot days, we will run our AC, and I literally will just lie in front of the air conditioning because it feels so good. And I definitely do find that when I am getting too hot, I feel overheated. I get really lethargic. Like, it's hard for me to like even get off the couch. I mean, it does that to everyone, right? But it's like really amplified when I'm this pregnant. So I'm trying to be careful about that, because you definitely don't want your core temperature to get overheated when you're pregnant, because that can be dangerous for babies. So I'm doing my best to stay cool in all the ways I can. I also found that actually ice packs make a difference. Like, I'll sometimes put one on the back of my neck, or if I'm really dying, I'll put one like on top of my belly. I try not to put it like where baby is, just because I don't want to freak him out or freeze him to death, but I put it like way on the very top of my belly, and oh, it just is so much relief to have that on there. There's also various kid activities that we might do, children's museum, swimming pool, trampoline park, that kind of thing, where they will have AC. So we will probably be utilizing those for the month of August. Anyway, so that is what I am doing to beat the heat, being this pregnant in the hottest part of the summer. So another strange little symptom that I've been having, I think it's because of all the extra blood volume in my body, but I will see stars sometimes. Like if I stand up too quick, or even when I lay down for a minute or two, I'll see stars. And so I'm hoping it's not an indicator of anything serious. I have a midwife appointment this week, and I'm going to ask about that just to make sure it's nothing serious, but I have been seeing stars when I go from horizontal to vertical, or vice versa. So that's been happening. I think the last thing that I was going to mention is that I've been having a lot of Braxton Hicks. It's been going on for maybe a month or so now, at least that I've been noticing. But I even get some that are just a little bit crampy sometimes now, which always worries me a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'm not going into preterm labor, but having been in labor before, I know what actual labor feels like. So I'm like, snap out of it. Like, I know this is not real labor. This is just Braxton Hicks. This is just practice contractions. And I know not to worry unless they get like really painful and like really regular, which they're not. Sometimes if I am feeling like more regular contractions, I'll just like, you know, do what you're supposed to do, lie down, have a big glass of water, and that usually takes care of that. I am keeping an eye on it, but it doesn't seem to be anything too terribly concerning. And I've never been in preterm labor before or anything like that, so as far as I know, I'm not prone to it, but I know it's still something you have to be careful about. So I am keeping my eye on that just to make sure it's not getting any more painful than it already is, just beyond a little bit crampy. So I think that's pretty much it for these last 3 weeks. Anyway, like I say every week, if you guys are also pregnant, be sure to leave a comment below and let me know what you guys have been experiencing the last couple weeks. I just love having this community with other pregnant women and just comparing notes and seeing how things are going for all of us. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, if you are new here, welcome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little notifications button if you'd like to get a notification every time I put up a new video. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.